Today is a win. Today is a victory of all victories for Sean Combs.
I want to thank the jury for putting such great care into this case.
Tonight, Sean Diddy Combs' legal team celebrating outside the New York federal courthouse. Just hours earlier, Combs stunned by the jury's decision.
After the judge had left the bench, Sean Combs fell to his knees in prayer. He addressed his family saying, "I'm coming home, baby, I'm coming home."
I actually cried when he did that because I know him and I know how he felt at that moment, knowing that 12 people had your life in their hands and they just gave you back your life.
Combs, once one of the most powerful names in entertainment, now a convicted felon and still behind bars tonight. A judge denying him bail, but the mogul beating the three most serious charges against him.
Sean Combs was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. What does that mean? That means that he paid an escort, an entertainer, to engage in sexual acts with each of those victims, Cassie as well as Jane, and that he did it across state lines.
The jury acquitting him for racketeering conspiracy and 2 sex trafficking charges.
He won in the sense that he is not facing a lifetime sentence.
ABC News exclusive video shows Combs' sons, Christian and Justin, celebrating the jury's decision.
Diddy's free.
Just after the verdict came in.
Everybody watching, so happy. Pop's coming home.
Douglas Wigdor, the attorney for Cassie Ventura, whose now settled lawsuit against Combs, launched a criminal case, speaking to my Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang.
Combs' supporters, his family, have been celebrating today. They see this as something of a victory. How do you see it?
The way he leads his life, even the things that he's admitted to, the things that we've seen with our own eyes of him beating a helpless woman, kicking her while she's on the floor, isn't the sort of person who is a role model to their family. And, I do hope he gets the help that he needs, but I sort of think that that's probably not going to happen. He'll feel emboldened by this.
While Combs is not coming home just yet, the verdict represents a stunning fall from grace for the hip-hop mogul turned entrepreneur. He had hits going back decades like I'll Be Missing You.
Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
And Bad Boy for Life.
We can't be stopped now, cause it's Bad Boy for Life.
Also launching business ventures like Sean John Clothing, Ciroc Vodka, and Revolt TV. A titan once thought to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars by Forbes. Federal prosecutors allege he used his business empire to sexually abuse and exploit women. They also accused him of using his staff to arrange travel for individuals to engage in paid sexual encounters. Combs vehemently denied all charges. A jury of New Yorkers, 8 men and 4 women, deliberating for about a dozen hours, initially unable to reach a verdict Tuesday on the first count of racketeering, then returning this morning before reaching their decision.
RICO is the agreement between 2 or more people to effectuate a crime through an enterprise. Sean Combs was the only person charged. There was no one to actually say this was a criminal enterprise, and that might not have been enough for the jury.
Cracks in Combs' glamorous persona first surfaced when his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a civil lawsuit against him in late 2023, which he settled the next day, paying Ventura $20 million with no admission of wrongdoing. 6 months later, this shocking video from a hotel surveillance camera depicting Combs physically assaulting Cassie. Though Combs first denied any wrongdoing, after the video's release, he spoke out on social media.
I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
But that hotel footage became crucial evidence at trial, along with Cassie's 4 days of emotional testimony. Combs' ex-girlfriend describing in detail his alleged physical assaults, threats, and incidents known as freak-offs. She said Combs first proposed the encounters that he called voyeurism when he would watch me have intercourse and sexual activity with a third party, specifically another man, within the first year of their relationship. Cassie testifying she continued to participate in freak-offs during their relationship. I knew it wasn't something I wanted to be doing, but I was in love and wanting to make him happy. I didn't feel like I had much of a choice. Didn't really know what no could turn into. Cassie telling the court the encounters became weekly events, with Combs often recording them.
The jury saw anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes worth of freak-offs throughout the entirety of this trial. As you watch the jurors, you could see them react. Raised eyebrows, crossed arms. They seemed clearly uncomfortable.
Defense attorneys portrayed Cassie as a willing participant in a consensual relationship, presenting text messages that seemingly show Cassie at times initiating the freak-offs. At one point texting, "Freak off with a girl?" Combs responding, "What makes you want to do that?"
Of the 12 jurors, half of them, their ages are anywhere from 51 to 74. And when it comes to understanding consent, there are very different points of view if you're talking about someone over 50, 30 to 40, and under 30. And I think that had a great impact on how this jury deliberated and came to their conclusion.
Also key to the government's case against Combs, the testimony of another former girlfriend who went by the pseudonym Jane. Over several days on the stand, Jane tearfully described her tumultuous 3-year relationship with Combs, which began in 2021 and ended when he got arrested in 2024.
You gotta believe what you want. It's the last time you go and cursing at me, disrespecting me.
Jurors hearing his own words in this voice note entered into evidence by the prosecution, sent to Jane by Combs.
You're straight flipping out on me, and I told you that you had one more time to do this. You're nuts. So be sad, go crazy, do whatever the you want to do. Okay, I don't deserve your.
The defense pushing back on Jane, pointing out that she benefited from Combs' financial support. "I hope she's having a nice day, but you know where she's doing it? In a house he's paying for." Mark Agnifilo, one of Combs' defense attorneys, delivered a theatrical closing argument, digging into the testimony by Cassie Ventura, painting a portrait of a, quote, great modern love story, of an intense, loving relationship that had its ups and downs. Cassie wanted to do this, he argued. This is how they're close. Later saying, "She's a woman who actually likes sex. Good for her. She's beautiful. She should."
I personally found calling the 10-year relationship that they had where he beat her, where he had male sex workers urinate on her, where he had her participate in these freak-offs for multiple days with UTIs, calling that a modern-day relationship, I think is really an affront. Just because he wasn't convicted of sex trafficking doesn't mean that the jury disbelieved her.
Wigdor says he thinks prosecutors did their job in this case and says the beyond a reasonable doubt bar is very high.
Do you think the jury got it right?
No, but I think that our justice system isn't perfect, unfortunately. I respect the decision. The facts honestly supported convictions on the sex trafficking and the RICO claims.
Wigdor joined prosecutors in asking for Diddy's bail to be denied.
Well, we think that he poses a significant threat still if he's released. He continued to do what he was doing with Jane, and that was while he was being watched by the federal government.
Combs is still facing numerous civil lawsuits, including one from Don Richard, a former member of the group Danity Kane, which Diddy founded. Don also testified at his trial.
I think it's a very heartbreaking day for his accusers.
Attorney Lisa Bloom represents her and another male accuser.
They're afraid of Mr. Combs, just like so many victims who testified in the trial about his propensity for violence and his many threats. My clients are afraid of some kind of retribution.
Despite that, she says both her clients are resolved to fight on.
In the civil case, we have different facts, different law, and a lower standard of proof. So I think once the news of this day sinks in, people will get stronger. They'll find their courage.
Combs is expected back in court for his sentencing in the coming months.
He looked disappointed and frustrated, frankly, when the judge refused to release him prior to sentencing, saying that Combs represents a danger to the community.
While the charges carry a maximum of 20 years in prison, he'll likely face less time.
Absolutely not the last you're going to see of Sean Combs. Absolutely not. Actually, you're going to see more of him.